All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the All Elite Recap. I am your host for this episode, stepping in for Sir Claudius, who is on a little bit of a leave. But we are here doing the All Elite Recap episode. Listen, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys that have been tuning in to these All Elite Recap episodes. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. It means the world to us that you guys take time out of your busy schedules to tune in, to check out these episodes. And this episode of the All Elite Recap was not only called Title Tuesday, but it also was the return to home base, which was Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida. So this was considered a homecoming episode for none other than AEW Dynamite. This was nothing more than the build to October 18th WrestleDream pay-per-view that is going to be held in St. Louis, Missouri. So like I said, Title Tuesday is on its way. So like I said, we had a lot of good matches. We had world champion Hangman Adam Page and his pay-per-view challenger Samoa Joe go face-to-face in this one. Tag team title holders Brodito take on the unified champ Kazuchika Okada and his reluctant Don Callis brother Takashita in a double Jeopardy match. And then Mercedes Moné also put her TBS belt on the line for an open challenge. So we'll also see Kyle O'Reilly get a second shot at Kyle Fletcher in the TNA title, a trio street fight between the Hurt Syndicate and the Demand, Jon Moxley one-on-one with Tomohiro Ishii, and then Pac renewing his acquaintances with Orange Cassidy and the Jurassic Express back in action as a team. So, like I said, it was just really a good show all the way around. The show opens with Tony Schiavone in the ring. He says it's great to be home in Jacksonville and introduces Hangman Adam Page and Samoa Joe for the face-off. So immediately off jump, we're starting this show with some heat. So they make their entrances. Joe is accompanied by the Ops. But they leave him at the stage to stand alone opposite Hangman Adam Page, and Tony thanks them for agreeing to no contact tonight. Page begins by saying there's been 6 years of AEW Dynamite all over the country, internationally, and for a long time here in Daly's place. In those 6 years, he's won, lost, committed arson, dressed as the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man, and one time he may have been proposed to, but he never has been confused as to when Joe lost his composure last week. Adam agreed to a team with Ops against the Death Riders, a fight he long since finished. And after he won the match for them, Samoa lost it and punched him straight in the face. He said he was confused by all of this, but he wasn't confused for long because Joe looked him in the eye and yelled at him that he never beat him. Joe saw him with the title that they both agree is worth more than any other prize in pro wrestling, and he wanted it. And his thesis is that Samoa Joe is angry with himself for losing sight of that title. So he gets a title match at WrestleDream, but Hanger didn't ask for this match because Samoa Joe kicked and screamed, nor because he sucker punched him, but because he owes Joe, which was a cool moment right there. All in all, Samoa Joe and the Ops put their bodies on the line to make sure his title match against Jon Moxley will be a fair one, and he appreciates and respects and owes him for that. He understands that without help like that, he could have never won the title. But the repayment for his gratitude stops there. Joe gets a shot at WrestleDream, but he will not let him take it from him. Samoa Joe says everything that Adam has said is true. But his problem is that when he sees Page holding the title, he doesn't see the pinnacle of professional wrestling. He sees a pretender. Ooh, Samoa Joe, Joe always get them scathing promos. The Ops made him champion, and if they hadn't had his back, he wouldn't be in the man right now. Joe says he's surprised he didn't do this sooner because he got so caught up with the Death Riders, he forgot that the prime target is the man who calls himself champion, and Page is no champion. He's out here doing his fighting champion hustle, offering a shot with 10 minutes of prep, and he's talking about he owes them. No, Joe is coming to collect. And Adam is a fraud, and he's come here to check him. So at WrestleDream, here's what's actually going to happen. In the moment where Page thinks he's going to step up and prove himself, Samoa Joe will choke him out and take the belt from him. He'll be shown his place, and he'll know who he is, and he'll have given the world a rightful champion. Page asks if he, a two-time champion, is a pretender, and why he has to explain to tough guys like Joe that the truth doesn't stand in his opinion. It stands in what happens when the bell rings. Samoa's right. With a bad neck and a mangled hand, he'll probably beat Hanger's ass for a while, but after a while, he'll get two for everyone, and he'll fight back, and he won't tap. And every second the match goes in is in his favor because Samoa Joe cannot outlast him. And when he's flat on his back, beaten as fairly as possible, he hopes he brings the same energy about the love for pro wrestling and the sanctity of his sport that he can get up, look him in the eye, shake his hand, and know that he is the champion of the world. Like I said, I don't like this clean version of Hangman Adam Page. I mean, I get it. I understand where they're supposed to be the baby face, white mean baby face of the company. It's supposed to be all about him, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't like it. I hope Samoa Joe chokes him out. All right, so next up we get Alicia Atal interviewing the conglomeration earlier today. Mark Briscoe talks about what they got going on tonight, and on Collision he says tonight Kyle is gonna beat Kyle's ass, and Holgrim's injury won't go unpunished. O'Reilly says he despises other men named Kyle. Sorry, Decker. And then Briscoe talks up Pac versus Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii for tonight. And everybody puts hands in except Roderick Strong, who, of course, is not part of the conglomeration, just Paragon, and gets fired up. And Cassidy hangs back Hacker hangs back a beat with Alicia. So next up, we get Jon Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii. Forehead to forehead, both men rearing for a fight, trading elbows. Moxley with the shoulder block to no effect. Ishii with one of his own, and John goes careening out to the floor. Mox rakes Tom's back vicious, smashes his face in the post, but the Stone Pitbull bounces off with a nary scratch. Chops putting Moxley into the post, and he crashes them to the floor. This leads us to the commercial break. When we get back from the commercial break, Moxley is in full control of this match, even hitting a lariat on him at one point. Moxley then with a running knee, and both men are down. John to his feet first. He hits an ace crusher, but it's not enough. Then the pile driver lift, holding him, flipping the bird, pile driver connecting, but Tom pops back up. Moxley off the ropes, blackout. Tomohiro Ishii will not stay down. Trading elbows back and forth. Mox goes off his feet, sliding lariat into a side headlock, trying to pop John's damn head off. A low German suplex. John ducks under and a paradigm shift, but Ishii kicks out again, and then Mox floats over into a sleeper hold in the middle of the ring, and the ref stops the match because of the sleeper hold. So Moxley with another victory. I like that they're keeping him strong, even though he's no longer the AEW World Champion. Like I said, and Ishii, they're building him up. He looks so strong in this match. The fact that he just will not die. It's hard to call his ass Matt Hardy for a minute there. Next up, we got earlier today, Renee Paquette interviewed the Young Bucks while they bang on Tony Khan's door to demand a money match. Matt Jackson says they've got front row seats for Jurassic Express match tonight. Nick Jackson asks how he paid for it. Matt says he sold some sneakers, and Nick goes back to begging on Tony's door to send us to commercial break. And then back from commercial break, we get a video package of Tony Storm's championship history, and then a recap of the Triangle of Madness beating Tony and Chris Statlander down on Collision follows after that. Then we're headed to our next match, the Hurt Syndicate Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin versus The Demand, which is Bishop Khan, Ricochet, and Toa Leona in a street fight. This match was nothing more than a downright brawl, Pier 6 brawl between these guys. Hurt Syndicate was in charge early as the ball breaks out. Porter and Ricochet alone in the ring. Ricky slaps him, and then Montel sees red and goozes him. And then Ricochet breaks free from the low blow with the low blow, and a GOA saved their man and put boots to MVP until Bob and Sheldon save him. And like I said, Bob grabs a crutch and bends it across Toa's back. Benjamin slams Khan on a chair in the ring. MVP super suplexes Ricochet on the stage. MVP and Sheldon work Leona over while Bob chokes Bishop Ricochet with a Topacan Giro off the barricade and wipes everybody out, and that sends us to break. That was a hot spot in the match right there. After that, we see more super kicks from Khan, and they lean on each other. Benjamin back body drops, and then Ricochet to the floor. Then a super kick for Bishop, a high angle German suplex, a running boot. Ricochet sacrifices himself for the lackeys. The big main part of the match was when Porter, with a face breaker, a big choke slam from Bobby Lashley and Benjamin, and absolutely whips him with the huge release German suplex from the table, and it's over. The Hurt Syndicate win by pinfall with the release German suplex from Shelton Benjamin on Ricochet. So the Hurt Syndicate get a trios win here. They got to be in line for a trios championship match here soon, you would think, right? Back from commercial break, and we see Renee Paquette interviewing the Don Callis family. Callis says they don't need to strategize much because they're that good, and he needs the walking weapon to destroy and dismantle Kota Ibushi at Collision. Kyle O'Reilly is an irritant, a fan, and a mark who named himself after Kyle Fletcher. They keep talking about how they're going to win their various upcoming matches and hold all the gold. Next up, we get the return of Jurassic Express. It's Jungle Man, Jack Perry, and Luchasaurus versus Orion and a partner. So Perry standing off against Orion, Tijeras, and a drop kick, a kip up, fired up, and the Young Bucks are shown in the back of the section with a couple kids between them while they watch the match. Luchasaurus tags in, drop kicks the other gentleman whose name I did not catch off the apron. And then Jurassic Express win by pinfall with a countdown to extinction on Orion. Post-match, the Young Bucks jump Jurassic Express and lay Luchasaurus out with the BTE trigger. Super kick party for Jack Perry. Nick Jackson grabs the mic and calls this call back and cracks Jungle Jack in the face with the microphone and challenges Jurassic Express to a match at WrestleDream. And then a Meltzer driver on Perry after that. So great setup for their match at WrestleDream in St. Louis. I would like that match to have a stipulation behind it. I think that would just make it all the better. So hopefully they do so. Next up, we have the Death Riders in the parking lot, and Pac cuts a promo, yada, yada, yada. He talks a lot. Anyways, we move on to Kyle Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly with the AEW TNA Championship on the line. They start off with the feeling out process between the two. O'Reilly with the drop toe hold, side headlock, a shot off, a shoulder block, a leapfrog. And then Fletcher blocks the sunset flip, but the KOR catches the stomp and tries to turn it into a knee bar, only for the Protostar to scramble to the ropes for the break. Fletcher lays chops in. O'Reilly ducks and lands a couple of leg kicks, a slap drop, a double kick into a finisher for the 1, the 2, not close. The match ends when Kyle Fletcher wins by pinfall with a brain buster, retaining the AEW World Championship. TNT Championship. Post-match, Lance Archer hits the ring to chokeslam KOR, but Roderick Strong and Tomohiro Ishii make the save. Rocky Romero joins the fray. Heels in control briefly, but here comes Mark Briscoe. Low bridge sends Lance crashing to the floor. Right hands for Romero, and he gets chucked to the floor, and then Fletcher stops short of punching Briscoe. They stare each other down, and we go to break. Back from break, and Renee Paquette informs Kyle Fletcher that Don Callis that Fletcher will have to defend his TNA championship, TNT. I don't know why he keeps saying TNT championship against Mark Briscoe. Next up, We have Mercedes Moné's open challenge, and who is answered it by? None other than Lacey Lane, the former Katana Chance of of NXT. So they start with the collar and elbow tie, and Lane go behind standing switch. Monet shovels her away, arm wringer from Lacey. Mercedes counters with a little dance, pot facing her, and Lane whips her at the corner. These women both were immensely short as part of the notes I took. Mercedes Moné wins by pinfall with the Monet Maker, retaining the AEW TBS Championship. And then Sammy Guevara cuts a promo backstage next to Beast Mortos. He says Eddie Kingston's gonna have a bad time against Mortos because after they fight, it's gonna be adios, and that's Spanish for goodbye. So corny. Bandito, and Brody King versus Don Callis' family is next. This is a double Jeopardy eliminator match, which is to say, if Brodito lose, the Callis team will get a tag title shot. But if Okada gets pinned, the guy who pins him will get a shot at as AEW Unified Championship. So Bandito and Takashita to start the match, circling in the collar elbow tie. They go back and forth. The hottest part of the match obviously came at the end when the Don Callis family won by pinfall with the Rainmaker from Okada on Bandito, earning a tag title shot at WrestleDream. So post-match, a furious Takashita shoves Okada and gets him moving out of the ring as King checks on Bandito. And then Renee Paquette interviews Willow Nightingale and Jet Speed backstage. Speedball Mike Bailey says it blows his mind that people claim to be the greatest tag team of all time get on the mic and try to justify their actions. And Jet Speed will always respect people who stand up to bullies. So Kevin Knight says he's not for sure FTR are really top guys, given how they take the low road. And Willow says it doesn't matter who's ringside. When the bell rings, it'll be 3-on-3. Knight tells Stokely to go to Bob Baby Gap and get another tracksuit. And then back from commercial break, FTR and Stokely Hathaway cut a promo backstage. Stoke will give Jet Speed some respect for being willing to step in the ring with the greatest tag team of all time, but nobody has respect for Willow Nightingale. Everybody wants to laugh and joke about how he doesn't get hoes, but you don't need hoes when you got two bad bitches like Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, is what he says. I actually like that line. That was pretty good. So move on from there. Orange Cassidy, Fresh Squeezed versus Pac. These two obviously have great chemistry together, have worked together a lot, and they're in no hurry to get things started in this match. Slowly circling the ring. Cassidy goes to put his hands in his pockets, but Pac grabs them. He does an arm wringer from Cassidy, a reversed back again, a roll through back body drop. Cassidy taking a breather in the corner, disdainful leg kicks, and then a bunch of other moves. Another high spot was when the bastard rolled through the hammerlock with an arm drag and a bypass arm drag, then a sidestep, a duck right hand, and then Cassidy smashing his face into the turnbuckle and going to the corner. Pac trying and failing to turn it around. He gets his face smashed again with the lariat. These two men go back and forth until Orange Cassidy gets the win by pinfall with a low Casadora victory roll pin. Post-match, Darby Allin appears at ringside, 1,000-yard stare on his face, jawing at Pac. The bastard runs up onto the stage and chases after him. Allin pepper sprays him, and then Wheeler Yuta arrives to help his pal, but Darby Allin has a stun gun too. He waves it at Daniel Garcia and runs backstage as the Death Riders scramble to keep Jon Moxley from chasing him. Darby has a Malavo cocktail, but security tackles him before he can light it. And then the Death Riders run away, and security holds Allin back as he has gasping, gulping deep, wild breaths if Moxley wants to die. And that ends the show. I don't lie to y'all. AEW be doing so much sometimes. I mean, I get being a little bit more wild, crazy, a little bit more unpredictable, but the ending of that show was a little much for me. I ain't gonna hold you. I like my wrestling to not have homicide opportunities, But, like I said, I mean, I guess I did like ECW back in the day, and they were all about stuff like that. So who knows? But this has been your AEW All Elite recap. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the We Book It channel. Big Daddy C will probably be back with you next week. Until next time, keep those booking pencils sharp and keep on booking.